Today on the DNVR Broncos podcast, RJ Harvey is slowly but surely cementing the Broncos as a stronger and stronger Super Bowl contender. And we've got a lot more to talk about as well. So tune in with us in just a few seconds.
This is the DNVR Broncos podcast presented by our friends over at Bet365, where if you download the Bet365 app and use the code DNVR365, deposit $10 and place a bet for $5, you get $200 in bonus bets. It's a great deal. I'm Henry Chisholm, joined by RK. We also, we don't give Dion enough shout outs. Dion behind the scenes grinding this morning, because I gave him 64 screenshots to put in the iPad later.
Wow.
Decided, for all of you who wanted to see the play that Sean drew up where they moved Garrett Bowles over to the right side outside Mike McGlinchey and put Crum in and Mercedes Lewis, we decided to cut that one for time. So you'll have to tune in later in the week because I think we'll talk about it some other time.
Dang.
Yeah.
I guess so what do we have now? Still 64? Or now we're down
Little
to
spoiler. We got to start with the punt return.
Okay.
Which takes a lot of screenshots because that was a long play.
Sweet.
We're digging into the Gunners. We got a lot to dig into.
Get to that in segment 3?
Yep, segment 3. So stay tuned for segment 3.
All right.
Other little BTS note behind the scenes for those who aren't as cool as us.
BTA note would be that the Broncos beat the Raiders.
Right. BTR. Beat the Raiders.
Yes.
Benny and Dave are taping their show right now.
It's actually Benny and Justin.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, there's Justin. So I'm just going to kind of keep my ears open. If one of them says anything smart, I might just repeat it here.
Nice.
Yeah.
Is it possible to close your ears?
Not without using my hands.
Okay, all right.
I wonder if that's what they're talking about.
Gotta be.
Probably talking about closing ears. Let's see. Where do we even start here? Broncos win. Feels pretty good, right?
Yeah, it feels great. So we got all 3 Denver teams winning. And someone posted a stat that is the first time ever that the Broncos, Nuggets, and Avs have all won on the same day. They've only played on the same day 11 times ever.
Yeah. I saw the same stat. And when we both see it and it resonates with both of us, it means it was a really good tweet and we should really credit whoever it was. I just cannot remember who that was.
Stats, man. I don't know.
Oh, we don't. Okay. If it's just some random account.
No.
Okay.
It's not. But I'll find it. I'll find it during the show and we'll give them their credit. It's just like you don't know you're going to talk about that on the show, or else you put it aside and be like, all right, let's talk about this. Anyways, they all won, and the Chiefs lost.
Which is incredible.
And the Raiders lost.
Right.
So that's about as good as a Sunday could possibly be, except for if the Chargers were playing and they lost too.
Right. I know. I mean, it really is a special day. You don't get those very often. And how long have the Broncos, Nuggets, and Avs all been playing? Since like 96, 95, 96.
Yep.
So it took 30 years for this to happen.
That's crazy.
It might take another 30. Now, all 3 teams are good. We'll have to check the calendar to see if it's possible again this year. Because you think about the math, obviously. Any given day, 50-50 the Nuggets play. Also 50-50 the Avs play. So 25% chance you get both. Then there's the 1-7 of the Broncos. And then you factor in that, like, you don't always just win every game, even though it kind of feels like it at this point.
And all 3 teams are on the road.
Right.
Which that might never happen again.
Here's another stat. So the Broncos have won 10 in a row. Have a home game and they're underdogs. Very rare.
Very rare.
You would think that would almost never happen, right? Mm-hmm. Other than the fact that on Sunday, the Patriots with a 10-game winning streak are at home against the Bills and they are also underdogs.
Wow.
Yeah.
Makes me want to make a Broncos-Patriots parlay, but
I know.
I want the Patriots to lose, so I don't know if I'll be doing that.
Right.
Okay.
We got to talk about this game tonight, too.
Let's talk RJ Harvey.
Yes.
Because I think what he did yesterday alters the potential outcomes of this season for the Broncos.
Right.
Up until yesterday, I was starting to think like, okay, so they're just going to need Bo to carry the team come playoff time. And that's, it's not that I don't want to see Bo do that. And it's not that I don't think that he could level up, which is a word we've used a lot over the last 3 weeks, maybe month, to do it.
Probably since Sierra got to town.
It's just not ideal. It's just not ideal.
Right.
So for RJ yesterday, this was my main thought when I rewatched the game this morning. Do you remember all offseason when I was talking about how the Broncos should go offense in the first round? I thought that they should go wide receiver. And one of the things that I said a lot was, who do you have to plan for? When you play the Broncos offense, who do you have to plan for? And the answer was really Courtland Sutton or nothing.
Yeah, probably nothing.
Well, yeah, I mean, you probably don't want to like leave Courtland on an island with your corner. Like, he's going to moss them. But that's like the only thing that you were really thinking last season. This season, I think you've had to account a lot more for Troy Franklin, which was a very nice kind of development because he was open down the field a lot early in the season. You, after last week, have to start thinking about Evan Ingram a lot more.
Yep.
And now, after yesterday, especially, I think you really have to think about RJ Harvey when you're playing against the Broncos. When I rewatched the game, the word that came to my mind was dynamic. He looked dynamic in that football game, and he made several plays that weren't just like, oh, like Sean Payton got him the ball in a super advantageous spot, and he just took advantage of that opportunity. Like, no, he was making plays out of nothing with his cuts, with his elusiveness, and with his contact balance.
Right. And I think those are the big things. I think where we saw RJ level up is just the ability to make guys miss. There were a lot of times where plays looked like they were going badly, and we're going to talk about some of them in particular in the third segment, but he was able to make a guy miss, and all of a sudden it's a solid gain. Or, you know, it's supposed to be a 5-yard gain. He makes a guy miss, and it's a 8-yard gain. And I wonder if you're a defensive player, so much of that was his speed, where you say like, oh, we're going to meet right here, but he changes the angle because he's faster than the defense expects. I wonder if defenses learn eventually like, oh, RJ Harvey is one of those guys who you treat like a fast running back, which means you need to be more conservative with those angles. That could be like a development that comes, but the combination of the contact balance and making guys miss, it just adds upside. Like whenever you give him the ball, there's the upside for a big play. Again, we've seen some big plays from him. There've been, I think, 3 big plays from him this year. But yesterday, for the first time, it was just consistent. You give him the ball 17 times, and you found the formula. Like it's Sean calling some really good run plays. It's the offensive line creating push and creating running lanes, creating some wide open running lanes. So you're not asking him to think. And then RJ on the other 30%, whatever it was, where he needed to find something that didn't look like it was there, he was able to go do that often enough to keep it consistent. You wind up 17 carries, 75 yards, 4.4 yards per carry. You know, that's not the kind of line that generally gets people like insanely fired up. You're like, oh, good game. But for RJ, the rookie, in his first game where he's getting the ball that much to be able to produce in that way, it just opens up a door that we were wondering if it was going to open at any point the rest of the way.
Yeah. I think the play that, and Zach mentioned this a little bit on the postgame show, the play that he made on the first third down of the game, I believe it was, 3rd and 2.
Yeah.
Bo just kind of bails out and throws it to him in the flat. He seemingly gets blown up by Jamal Adams.
Yeah, of all people.
Doesn't go down, spins his way out of it, goes 0 to 60 like immediately, gets across the first down line, actually gets popped again, and converts the first down. And I just think, I sometimes think we underrate the early goings of a football game. It feels like everything happens at the end, especially in the NFL where it's almost a 1-score game. Actually, yesterday counts as a 1-score win for the Broncos.
Yep.
It feels like it's a 1-score game every single week. So it feels like the game boils down to the fourth quarter. I think so often you can trace back to something that happened in the first 2 drives of the game that completely altered the shape of the football game. And that's what I think RJ did in that play. Like, that's a 3-and-out for the Broncos. They're punting to the Raiders. Raiders actually had a great script, so they maybe go up 7-0. The Broncos are start the game chasing. It just changes everything. RJ made that play, and then after that, I was just like, when I was rewatching, knowing we were talking about this today, I'm just watching him make these types of plays throughout the game where it's just like he is squeezing 1 or 2 extra yards out of a lot of plays, which is just not something we had seen from him yet. So yes, it's the Raiders. You do have to take quality of competition into it, but I just love seeing that for him because, like you mentioned, it's not something that we had like built into our RJ Harvey spectrum of thoughts yet.
Oh, totally. It's what we've been waiting for. Because as I'd said this week, you look at the last 4 games. Last week 2.7 per carry. Before that 2.7 per carry. Before that 4 for 9, which is 2.3, 2.5. Even those small sample size games, he just hadn't been able to find a way to be productive on the ground. Still very productive as a receiver, and that didn't go away yesterday. But again, it just you had to wonder if this was possible. And again, it is the Raiders. And just because you're able to get this run game going, a lot of it is like that offensive line just pushing guys back and Jeremy Chin refusing to put his nose down and get into a play. But not to name names, but we're going to talk about him later too.
Let's name names.
Yeah. It makes you realize it's possible. And there'll be a bigger challenge this week going up against a Packers front that is obviously more talented. Although without Kenny Clark, they're talented in areas that are a little bit different than they were talented before. And I think some of what the Broncos did this week might actually translate better than people realize. But it's just really exciting because that was the piece, as we've been talking about, that's been missing since JK was gone. And it's nice to be able to see Bo go out there and be efficient this week after last week. They spend so much time in empty and he's just carving up the defense. They're getting into the overtime and just letting him cook essentially. To know that he is capable of that if needed, and there's a chance that you could get into the playoffs saying, well, you probably want to get RJ 20 touches in this game. Yeah. If you're feeling both of those two things, there's a chance to go on a run.
Yeah. I also just love the way that Sean Payton sets the, like, I just know he went into yesterday being like, I'm going to make RJ have a game today. Yeah. We're going to give him over 20 touches, and he is going to be responsible for us winning.
Yeah.
And RJ went and took advantage of it, and I think that Sean probably spoke that into him throughout the week. Like, hey, this is your week. Yeah. We need you moving forward. You're going to break out this week.
Right. Yeah, he had 18 touches against Cincinnati.
Another one where it's, hey, let's get the kid going.
Absolutely. And then 23 this week, obviously a new career high. I think it's just good for him to be out there that much because the game's different when you're out there for whatever it was, more than 2/3 of the snaps versus when you're in there for about 1/3 of the snaps, which is the case coming into this game. Just to get used to being hit on every play, to not going to the sideline after you get a touch, to just having those repeat reps over and over. And you hope that this is just the starting point and he kind of takes off.
Absolutely.
All right. We got a lot more to talk about. Real quick, though, want to give a shout out to our friends over at Toyota. We love Toyota. Everybody here drives a Toyota for the most part. We got a nice little Toyota back there behind Brian. We got Toyota on the table. That's our Toyota table. Toyotas are the best, whatever you're trying to do. They've got the trucks for hauling or going off-road, the Tacoma, the Land Cruiser. They've got 17 models with available all-wheel drive or four-wheel drive, like the 4Runner. Just so many different options and so many efficient options, like the 16 different hybrid vehicles to choose from, like the Tundra iForce Max hybrid truck. They have more low and zero emission vehicles combined than any other automaker. It gives customers numerous choices to reduce their carbon footprint. Visit your Front Range Toyota stores at a location near you. AutoNation Toyota, Arapahoe and Centennial, Corwin Toyota in Boulder, Groove Toyota in Littleton, Mountain States Toyota in Denver, Stevenson Toyota East in Aurora, Stevenson Toyota West in Lakewood. Toyota, the official automotive partner of the NFL, and also the official vehicle of DNVR. Let's go places.
And thank you to our friends over at Shady Rays for making this show possible. The Broncos' future, obviously, incredibly bright. Mm-hmm. And when a future is that bright, you're just going to need some sunnies. Just going to need some shades to make sure that you can still see. And one other thing, the Broncos don't lose. But if you lose your sunglasses, well, Shady Rays is going to replace them for free. Not only if you lose them, if you break them, if they're stolen. And I just love that you don't have to, like, lie. You know, there's so many places that are like, oh, well, if it's stolen, we'll replace it. But if you lose it, we won't. Mm-hmm. That's just forcing you to lie.
It is.
Shady Rays is like, no, don't lie. Just tell us that you're a ditz and you forgot your sunglasses at the party, and we'll just hook you right back up with another pair. So get over to shadyrays.com. Use the code DNVR for 35% off polarized sunglasses. Try for yourself. The Shade's rated 5 stars by over 300,000 people.
All right, back in the DNVR Broncos podcast, presented by Bet365, where we have so much fun.
We do.
Big shout out to Bet365 today. And shout out to Patrick Mahomes for all the money he made me.
Yes, you deserved it too after that bad beat. Just thoughts and prayers with everyone who took the bad beat of the Broncos yesterday.
We are with you.
Yes, Henry is especially with you.
Yep, I'm very much with you. Some news. Broncos signed running back Sincere McCormick to their practice squad. He was, during my draft pod era, UTEP running back, smaller back, but bursty, shifty.
Why do we need a bursty, shifty small back?
Sean Payton has a type. I think there's a reason why the Broncos chose him in particular, though. So he was undrafted, started his career with the Raiders. 2022 didn't see the field. 2023 didn't see the field. 2024, he did get on the field. First game, or first at least carries at least in NFL game, were against the Broncos. And he had 5 carries for 33 yards. A little pop, 6.6 per carry.
Okay. What team was that?
Raiders. So not a good team.
Wow.
12 for 64 the next week. That's 5.3 per carry. 15 for 78 the next week. Those are against Kansas City and Tampa. So that's 5.2 per carry. Then went to Atlanta, 7 for 8, and that was the last time he ever touched the ball in his career until now. So 22, 3, 4, 5. This is his 4th NFL season. So far, though, 4.7 per carry, a couple games. 0-5 in the games he's played. Playing for the Raiders, though, I do not put that on his shoulders.
No, I don't really believe in running back wins.
No, you don't?
No.
Okay.
But the good news for Sincere is that hopefully he's going to be able to be a part of a win. So.
No, good. I thought you were going to make a joke about his name.
No, I was going to say, like, the Broncos are sincerely taking a look at, giving him a chance. But
yeah.
I was more thinking about his last name, which reminds me of the first vodka I ever drank.
Oh, wow.
McCormick's. Woo.
Yeah.
That is, you could put that in your car and it'll start.
Fun little piece of Hank trivia. I don't drink vodka anymore because of college.
Oh, same.
Yeah.
Same.
I think that happens to people.
Yeah. Well, for me, it's because of high school, but hey.
Okay. That makes sense. High school is basically college.
It took me until my 30s to even have it in I'll have like an espresso martini or something now.
I very rarely do that.
But me too.
It's right. I really there has to be like a weird menu. I don't go to like cocktail bar. Last time I got invited to a cocktail bar and so it's all in there and everybody they're dressed way nicer than I am. I'm in my hoodie and stuff. And the waitress comes over and I was like, you don't happen to have a Coors Light, do you?
Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking in my head.
Yeah. And she was like, no, we don't have Coors Light. And everybody laughed a little bit. And I was like, you guys are the worst.
Yeah, that's...
give me a flower and a drink. That sounds like something I need.
That is tough.
Yeah.
You could just have a Coors. I went to a beer bar one time that prided themselves upon having beers and they didn't have Coors Light. And I was like,
that is
I
tough.
need to be out of here.
Okay. Let's just what are takes? What's on your mind after yesterday's game?
Okay. The easy games are over.
Okay. Yep.
Thought about that quite a bit. Now, that game was so auraless. It just had nothing that moved me in any way, which is kind of sad just because you spend all week looking forward to the Broncos playing. And then it's it's not their fault. The Raiders didn't make them do anything cool. So they just, we talked about the RJ plays. That's about the cool stuff that happened. Nick Benito had 2 sacks. But other than that, it was just let's get in here and get out of here, which is just weird. Which then leads me to being mad at the Raiders. I'm mad at Mark Davis for just ruining the Raiders. It's so weird. I should be happy. Someone commented on my post about this and was like, yeah, I love this. I never want Raiders fans to feel any joy. That's how deep this runs for me. And I'm like, I get that. But at the same time, it's actually peeling away from my joy of beating them.
Right.
The more the more hope that they have, the more fun it is to win.
Right.
The more that their fans are in there going crazy in the stadium, the more fun it is to win. Mark Davis moved them into the desert, gave them this stupid stadium that's not even that cool.
Right.
And now it's just a Broncos home game that we have to travel for. And it's kind of terrible. Like, it used to mean something to beat the Raiders. I said this, and I truly mean this. I felt no different feeling about beating the Raiders yesterday than I did about beating the Titans in week 1.
Right.
It feels the exact same. Just a crap team, crap franchise that the Broncos had no business losing to, and they didn't.
Yeah. It really is a shame. Because as much as like we hate the Raiders and it's like death to the Raiders, all that's like the feeling has gone away. And there's a bunch of reasons for like rivalries feeling different today and all that. Players don't stick around as long. There's all sorts of things going into it. But like we said last week, or I said last week, you talk about like playing somebody in a game, you get to the end, do you want to win more or lose less? Like, to me, I want the other person to lose. Like, that's the joy to me, is like, you lost to me and you are a loser now. And with the Raiders, like, who are you even telling that to? There was like the one guy in the gorilla costume. They only have one guy with a painted face there. They usually have idiots everywhere with their faces painted. They're the Raiders. Yeah. And it's just like, they can only cry so much. You know, there aren't enough tears for all of us to enjoy. And it just kind of, what's the point?
I know. It sucks. I was at the last Broncos game in the Black Hole, and that was my first time there, and I'm so glad that I went. It had like a feeling about it where it was like, man, this is like a nasty, tough place to play. It was like a misty day in the Bay Area. Yeah. I was walking into the stadium, and like, this is something that you don't see. Like, all of the tailgates were blasting hip hop. Which is like, not like, you will not see that in Las Vegas.
No, they have a live band.
Yeah.
It's so stupid.
The parking lot smelled like weed. I was like, damn, this is sick.
Right.
Like, this is like its own thing. I've been to a Dolphins game in Miami, and I've been to all these places. And I'm like, no one is like this.
No.
And as much as I hated them and I wanted them to lose, I was like, I appreciate that they have their thing. Now they just have nothing. That's enough about the Raiders.
Luckily, former NFL running back James Robinson says the Broncos are winning the Super Bowl in the chat. Okay. So that's big news. Yeah, I'll throw out there. You brought it up, me bringing it up before the show, but I'll say it again.
Oh yeah, this is a good take. You should say it several more times.
I know. I'm too excited to say it now. It's not going to come off natural. It's weird for the Broncos to be at this point feeling like they can win a Super Bowl when, in the past, it's always been the end of an era is when they win a Super Bowl. I think that's why it's been tough for Broncos fans to accept. Like, for a lot of teams, Super Bowls just kind of come out of nowhere. Like, that Rams team was good before they won a Super Bowl, but nobody was like, here it comes. They're finally going to do it. You know, and I think there are obviously examples like Patrick Mahomes. That wasn't like the culmination of years and years of hard work. It was just like, oh, he showed up and he's really good, and now they win Super Bowls sometimes. And I think in Denver, it's just so different because you look through the Super Bowls we've won here, the first one being after 15 years of questioning whether John Elway can win the big game. It's like, you have the best quarterback alive, but can he do it? And you finally get to that mountaintop, and there's this long journey to get there. And then they do it again the next year to cap everything off. And obviously with Peyton, it's the same thing where you have like this whole era of football where it's, you know, it's Peyton Manning. Can he come to Denver? Is he the first quarterback to win a Super Bowl with two different teams?
Yep.
Yeah. So like, can he do it? Eventually it's broken down. You know, it's coming to an end, and he finally does it. It's like a stamp at the end, and the book is closed. That's the weird thing. I think it's why Broncos fans think that that's how Super Bowls come, is after like you build toward it, and build toward it, build toward it, and eventually you earn it, and then you turn the page and it's on to whatever's next. And the Broncos are just in a situation where you could go win the Super Bowl, and then just, if you decide you want to pay John Franklin Myers, run it back with the same team, add some draft picks, and just you're the exact same team as you were the year before. Yeah,
it does kind of feel like we're ahead of schedule, and like everything that's happening is kind of like found money.
Right.
Eventually that's going to switch in our brains, though.
It will.
Like, I don't know if it's the first playoff game or like when it, like at some point during this season, I think it's going to stop feeling like, oh wow, like here we are. We're just 11-2. Like, this is pretty cool.
Right.
And start to feel like, hey, we should probably win the Super Bowl this year.
Right.
Because opportunities like this just don't. Just because you get it once doesn't mean you get it a bunch of times. And I actually remember talking to Steve Atwater because They went to the Super Bowl. I don't remember these years, but in the 80s, the Broncos make a trip to the Super Bowl, and I think it was Steve's rookie year, and he was just like, cool, like, this is just what we do.
Yeah.
And then there was a long drought before even Elway got back to another one. And I'd be interested to talk to a Broncos fan about like what they felt like after that first one. I'm sure everyone kind of felt like, okay, we got there.
Yep.
I think they run into the 49ers in that one.
Was that the first one?
At least that's
I think it was
maybe
Cowboys,
might not be the
then
first
40?
one, but it's the one that Steve was telling me about. So it would have been his first one.
Right.
And I just remember him being like, okay, like we're way behind them. Like they got smacked, but like we're really close compared to everyone else.
Yep.
So this has to be like, eventually has to stop feeling like it's just a free year.
Right.
And start feeling like, hey, we should probably capitalize on this.
Let's find a way to get this one.
Opportunity.
Yeah. I know. Oh, I saw like there was a Chargers fan who had a tweet. I can't remember what exactly it was, but it's like we'd kick any of these teams' asses. Looking at like the entire AFC playoff picture, I was like, wow. Imagine if you were the Bills. Like you're the Bills, knowing we are the Buffalo Bills, a proud team that every single year is near the top. And you look at the other 6 teams in the playoffs, and you're just like, oh, Patriots. Maybe fool's gold. You look at the Broncos the same way because they haven't proven it. You look through, obviously, the Jags. You look through the Steelers. You look through, like, every one of those teams and say it's right there. Same thing for the Broncos. Like, the Broncos just go and win those games. And that's why this next 4-game stretch is, I mean, we're past the point where learning really matters. Like, it's fun early in the year to be like, oh, you're 5-1. This team might be good, but we'll see. Like, we just got to keep watching, see if they keep showing signs. You're to the point now where it's like, yeah, you are good. It's just, are you going to go win all these playoff games? But still, you get to watch what happens when you play the Packers, who probably have about as good of a chance of winning the Super Bowl as anybody. Like, what happens when you play the Jags, who, you know, nobody really believes in them, but they're finding ways to win games. And they have some defensive pieces. Like, you get to go through the ghost of the Chiefs, which... We got to talk about the game last night, too.
Okay.
Just real quick. Because watching Andy Reid panic and go for it in the fourth quarter, after it'd probably been like 90 minutes of real time since the Texans were able to put points on the board. They're like, we got to go for it on 4th down here. And if we don't get it, we just give them the ball in field goal range.
In a tie game.
Insane. Just handed them the game. Oh, and if he didn't hand them the game, then Travis Kelce did.
Just desperate and honestly, like, looking like a team that didn't belong there.
Yeah.
You know, like the moves that they were making and the decisions that were just like, not that of a team that has been there a lot recently. Like a team that was like, oh God, we're here. Like, what do we do?
I was kind of thinking like, might wake up to a notification that Travis Kelce decided to call it quits. Like, because he knew this was the last year. Like, they're basically out of it. He just handed him the ball twice at the end of the game. Like, it's so fun to watch.
I love watching it, and like I just yell expletives at the screen every time they screw up.
Yep.
It's great.
It really is great. It really is special. You know what else is special?
What is?
Our great friends over Monarch. We love Monarch here at DNVR. Between Monarch and a couple of our betting partners, I am in a very good place financially.
You're telling me.
Yeah, I'm telling you. Yeah, Monarch is the best for whatever you're trying to do, because I feel like everybody should be trying to do. I think everybody is trying to do something financially. It's usually just get more money, maybe
save more money,
a little more detailed, like save more, help make sure your kids get to go to college, or like make sure they get to have a wedding, or you want to go on vacation, or just like you want to retire someday, which, you know, could take some work. Monarch is the best. They're the best budgeting app, but you also get so much more. They track everything you do, all of your investment accounts, everything you can think of. You just track it all in one place. You don't have to go to all these different spots and figure it out. It's the best budgeting app of 2025 by the Wall Street Journal. Don't let financial opportunity slip through the cracks. Use code DNVR at monarch.com in your browser for half off your first year. It's 50% off your first year at monarch.com with code DNVR.
So you mentioned weddings, you mentioned college, you mentioned vacation.
I did.
All things that you want to save money for.
Right.
You know what all those have in common?
They cost money?
Great time to drink a Coors Light.
Ah, yes.
Just an absolutely elite time to drink a Coors Light.
Which one's best?
Okay, so you said wedding, college, vacation?
Yeah.
I mean, college.
It has to be college. Yeah. I'm glad I didn't. Okay.
Yeah, beers in college. Wow. What a time to drink beer. And I mean, you'll probably never eclipse the amount that you drink then.
Probably
but
not. We'll do our best though.
Every time you choose to chill, you just choose Coors Light, whether you're in college and of age, of course.
Yep.
Or you're watching the Broncos game on a Sunday, you're on vacation, or you're at your wedding.
Right.
There's never a bad time for Coors Light, which is pretty cool. There's not a lot of things you can say about that. But shout out to our friends over at Coors Light, and you can have it delivered straight to your door with Instacart when you go to CoorsLight.com/DNVR. Celebrate responsibly. Coors Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado, Bear.
Back into the DNVR Broncos podcast presented by Bet365. Heard they might be picking up a farm here pretty soon. So it's good for them.
Davey goes, I bet the farm when the Chiefs winning the Super Bowl this morning. And Matthew goes, you're about to lose your farm, friend.
It's true. Oh, don't bet on the Chiefs.
Okay. Fun fact about the Chiefs right now.
Yep.
The Broncos have a 5-game lead on the Chiefs. Is that right?
That is fun.
Yep. Broncos have a 5-game lead on the Chiefs plus a tiebreaker. That is a larger lead on the Chiefs than the Chiefs have on the Titans.
Ooh, Chiefs are closer to the Titans than the Broncos?
Chiefs are closer to the Titans
That's
than the
fun.
Broncos. The Chiefs have a 4-game lead on the Titans for last place in the division. Or last
That feels
place
good.
in the conference.
That feels good. You know what else feels good? All these plays that we get to watch. Shout out to Dion for putting them all together. It's presented by Credit Union, our favorite.
Inside scoop.
Yes, the Inside Scoop. They're the best. We're the best. It's a perfect partnership. We got to start with the punt return.
Okay.
Because how could you not?
Sure.
So
this is what made it an easy game for the Broncos.
Absolutely. So first interesting decision the Broncos made. So a lot of the time you think punters backed up, we might try to block this.
Mm-hmm.
And so you put everybody up on the line of scrimmage to try to rush. Not the Broncos, though. They leave 2 jammers on the outside. They're trying to set up a return because they've got the back-to-back all-pro punt returner. We're going to focus in on this little battle up here where you've got Jahdae Barron and Devin Key going up against some random Raider guy. Next play. So you'll see he goes to the outside release. They know they're punting it off to the right, which is why you get the inside release from this guy, and they'll kind of leak around this way too. But we're watching this battle up here. So Jahdae gets hands on him and actually kind of grabs him and just tosses him out of bounds,
Nice.
which is a great start. And you'll see he's right here inbounds as he's being tossed, winds up 4 or 5 steps out of bounds. Now he's trying to get back in here, and he's able to get back in past Devin Key. But you count 1, 2 of the 3. Like you get the jam off the line, toss him out of bounds. He's able to get in free. But what that means is he's still way up here, and there's no way he's forcing the fair catch because you did such a good job between Devin Key and Jahdae Barron just sticking him out there. And then the other thing you can kind of notice here is where all the leverage is. So if you look at these two, you kind of got, look, it's the Broncos on the outside. You got the Broncos on the outside, got the Bronco on the outside, Bronco on the outside, Bronco on the outside with this guy, these 2 on the outside, which means if Marvin can get to the Bronco side of all those guys, you got a big return. Now, everything gets a little bit congested in here. We're changing angles a bit, but you can see all 3 of these guys are blocked up pretty well. That's Jahdae with that gunner we were talking about. Again, this is the guy who kind of gets hands on Marvin, but he's not able to get like a clean hit on Marvin because Chris Abrams-Drain, this is the gunner from the other side. Chris Abrams-Drain's able to like push on him enough to make it not clean. You're going to get the pursuit from these 2 to make it a little bit tougher. So there's the attempted tackle right in here. Marvin gets through, and then like we said, you got leverage all the way. And all you need, JL Skinner, make the block. He makes the block. And you're into the end zone with the mile-high salute. Marvin said the reason he goes for the mile-high salute because his nickname in the receivers room, Mile High Marv.
Mile High Marv.
That's pretty good.
It is pretty good. And I love this. By the way, something, what's the thing they're saying? Hashtag noticing.
Oh, yeah.
Something I'm noticing.
Oh, boy.
Marvin Mims in December.
Marv Sember.
Marv Sember could be on the table.
It could
because
be.
he balled out in December last year.
He did.
To the point where everyone was like, you don't even need to draft a wide receiver. You
Right.
have Marvin Mims.
He was on pace for 1,200 yards.
Yes.
Yeah,
Who would say
1248.
that?
Yeah. Yeah, right. Who would say that?
So, not me, I'll tell you that. But Marv Sember could be a thing. Maybe Sean just saves his Marvin Mims plays until December.
Mile High Marv.
Mile High Marv.
Mile High Marv Sember? No, just Marv Sember. All right. We're gonna dig into some RJ Harvey stuff here because that's kind of the story of the day. This is the pass. This is the first drive when he breaks the tackle. You see, there's Jamal Adams right here, RJ Harvey right here. Broncos do a fun little thing. They put him out in like this little fake motion him out. But look, Jamal doesn't follow. So what does that mean? It's not man coverage.
Yep.
You've got all figured out. You got numbers out here. Bo sees it. But what actually happens is, so now he's back in there. He runs out there. Bo's throwing it because of the pre-snap read. Jamal's coming. Jamal knew that the motion was a fake.
Wow.
He knew that was just like, they aren't actually like throwing this right here. They're just testing it. I'm not going to show him. And because he's a veteran in the NFL, he knows to do something like that. And
that's fantastic. Football is such a chess match, man.
It's beautiful.
It really is great when you break it down at this level. By the way, it's also to the boundary, which gives him the ability to do that because he's like, even if they go throw it there right now, I have a defender over there, which is the sideline.
Right. So now you can see here's the ball in the air right there. You've got RJ trying to make the catch. You've got Jamal Adams, one of the scariest men in the NFL 3 years ago, coming bearing down on him. Not ideal. This is the kind of play where it's like, this might be the last we see of RJ today. And then you see he gets blasted by Jamal. He's turning sideways here. Like he is on his way to the ground before somehow he's able to throw him off. You'll see he's at the 34 there, gets all the way up to the 40, picks up an extra 6 yards after that, converts it. Broncos go down the field, score an opening drive touchdown. Game changer right there.
Yes, literal game changer.
Literal game changer.
And it's like you see these running backs do these drills of like putting their hands on the ground and like pivot around with their feet. And then you just like see it in actual action. Like the ability to just contact balance, the ability to keep your balance through contact and get a low center of gravity so you don't go to the ground is a very good ability that he has at a high level.
In spades, as some would say.
In spades.
I wouldn't understand what that means exactly, but right. So Broncos obviously in shotgun. You got a bunch of guys up at the line of scrimmage. Don't know who's coming, who's going, but you kind of do because the guys who are going are actually standing up right there. So you'll look at Jeremy Chin. So he's got bail out of here. He's responsible for the flat. So he's just sprinting all the way out here with his back turned because he has to get to the flat. He's still going out there. He's still looking this way, trying to get to the flat. And why is he trying to get to the flat? Because that's where RJ Harvey is going to be. So you'd think maybe if you're Jeremy Chin, just maybe take a peek at the guy who is the reason why you're sprinting so hard out there. Bo gets the ball to RJ, plenty of space. He goes up there, makes Jeremy Chin miss. You'll see the sticks right here. It's second down, so you don't need to get there. He does it, though. He gets to the sticks because he will make a guy miss.
A lot of like RJ getting to the sticks plays in this game.
He always gets to the sticks.
Yep.
RJ sticks Harvey?
Maybe.
Maybe. We'll work on it.
I don't know if that's going to stick.
It might not stick. Okay. Under center now. More RJ Harvey. We're getting into some runs. You see, this is just so easy. Everybody's just blocked. He's going to be blocked. Jeremy Chin up here, not a threat because he's always way back there.
And just washed at this point?
Maybe. But it's just so easy. Like, what you are more talented than the other team in every one of these matchups. And so you just go win. If you're RJ, you have a lead blocker. You don't even have to think. Follow the lead blocker. Can kind of watch Wattenberg just watch this guy out. Kind of fun. Kicks him all the way out here. Gets the cutback. Jeremy Chin decides he's going to be involved now. Good for him. A little narrow with the hole, but again, we got numbers. We're pretty good. We've got a running back who can push forward for another yard, and it turns out to an easy gain of 5. You can just do it over and over and over again.
I'm starting to think more about this Sticks nickname.
Yeah.
Because Sticks is usually something that a nickname for someone with like who has like skinny legs. So then it would also be funny because RJ has the opposite of skinny legs.
He does. He's one of the many quadzillas.
Yes. And
everybody's quadzilla.
If you combine that with the fact that he always gets to the sticks, it might actually be a good nickname.
It might be.
Harvey kind of goes crazy.
It might be. I kind of like it. Here's another one. It's just well blocked. Get the handoff this way. You get the double team here. He's going to get off onto the linebacker. RJ's going to do a good job pressing this hole, though, so that Devin White doesn't know you can kind of cheat outside. Again, there is somebody who could help. Our friend Jeremy Chin. Just happened to be as I was going through. It's like, oh, there's that number 11 again. But yeah, good blocks across the board. RJ presses the hole, so Devin has to step up. Just cuts off the back hip.
That's really
Don't
good
go
stuff.
fill the hole. And then next thing you know, he's just off and running.
Almost
yeah. So he
popped
changes the angle a little bit on these guys because just the speed. So he's able to get whatever it was 17 yards, I think, on that one. Just beautiful.
Ankle tackle away from being to the crib too.
Yep. So we had some good plays. Here's one that actually is a good play, but it just wasn't necessarily good for the right reasons. So you'll look, another I formation, got the kick out block from the fullback. You kind of got blocks all across the board. And RJ does what he sometimes does. You don't mind him pressing outside. You kind of see this little space developing, but this is one where Devin White's already in this hole. You've got safety helping. This guy's got your edge set here. So there's nothing going on out here. Meanwhile, look back this way. I wouldn't say there's a huge lane, but this is one where J.K. Dobbins back in the day kind of bounces and bounces and bounces and then hits something and goes. RJ just kind of follows that big space. Turns out not a good look because you got the one-on-one right there, and it's actually kind of a two-on-one. Eventually, this guy's going to come help. He is RJ Harvey, though, which means that he makes that guy miss. And then you kind of split these two and wind up with a solid 4-yard gain from buried back there.
That's exactly what we need to see.
I know. It'd be nice if you were like finding these little gaps and making guys miss at the end of plays, and it was turning like 5 yards into 8 yards. But hey, if you're going to make a mistake and it's going to turn 0 into 4, not bad. Could have been a lot worse.
Yeah.
It just goes to show it's not perfect. And then here's the touchdown. This was my favorite of the day. More I formation. Again, like, you kind of see a space here. So what's he going to do? You kind of have these two holes, right? Like, you're not really able to bounce it this way because you got help and some leverage. The edge is kind of set. So you kind of could go this way. Maybe you try to get all the way out here, but this guy's right here to help. This guy's right here to help. So what do? Take that step toward the hole. Look, he's dead to rights. Unless you just kind of nuzzle your way up into this tiny little crease that nobody would ever see except for J.K. Dobbins. And look at that. Just gets so skinny to get up through there. It gets, is it the 1.5 or so? As he kind of buries
convoy,
and everybody pushes, and there he is getting into the end zone. So good.
That's good.
That's
man.
vision. That's vision.
Stuff. You're right.
And then last one. That was it for RJ, but we got to see the no look.
Yes.
Yeah, have to see the no look. So that's Bo Nix. Ever heard of him? He's going to take the snap. He's going to look to the left. There's nothing there. It's all ugly. So what does he do? He looks over to the right, and I think we actually might have one more shot. But as you can see, linebacker Devin White is moving this way because he sees the eyes going this way. Bo throws it. There's the ball. It's coming out this way. But you can look at the little Bronco logo. He's looking over here. And then what happens? There's the catch from Cortland Sutton.
No one in the area.
No, he just cleared the whole thing out with a no-look pass. Oh, it's so good. That's the Inside Scoop presented by our friends over at Ent Credit Union. Go sign up with the Broncos checking account. So many perks when you do that. And tell them we sent you as well. Also, want to give a shout out to Dick's Sporting Goods. Everything I wear is from Dick's. Like just across the board, like these sweatpants from Dick's, hoodie from Dick's, shirt. Actually, not from Dick's today, but if I was going to let people see the shirt, I would have been wearing something from Dick's. Also, here's a fun story about these shoes in particular. I thought these were Hoka's, and I heard that like Hoka's were trendy.
Like mine.
Right. And so I went and bought them, and I went home and said, Lexi, look at my Hoka's. And she said, those are not Hoka's. Those are On Cloud shoes. But they don't really make it clear. That's what she said. It's like they're just as good. But whether you're more style knowledgeable than me or not, they've got everything you could be looking for. If you play sports, they've got equipment for baseball, football, soccer, basketball. Dick's is the best. Go check them out. I do all the time. Get your gear fast. The curbside pickup at your nearest store. Easy shipping from Dicks.com because every season starts at Dick's.
And also to our friends over at Common Spirit, athletes, weekend warriors, anyone who loves to move. Hopefully you do. Moving is good.
Moving is good.
If you are experiencing any sports injury or chronic pain, which all of us are at this age, like if you're active and doing things, you're just going to end up in pain.
Right. And I'm not even active. Like I said last week, I had 3 pillows on my bed, so my foot was kind of hanging off. Yep. Woke up, knee was sore from the weight of my foot.
Yeah, you got to be careful.
Yep.
And if you go over to the Common Spirit Mountain Region Sports Medicine Program, well, they've got a sports center that can make sure that you are healthy so that you can get out there and be active without those aches and pains that make it hard or make you not want to go. It's not about fixing what's broken. It's about preventative care, performance enhancement, and getting you back to peak condition safely and quickly if you do suffer an injury. So don't let injury keep you on the bench, or even better, be proactive about your health. For more information, visit mountain.commonspirit.org. Common Spirit Health, official healthcare partner of the 11-2, first place in the conference, first place in the division, mighty Denver Broncos Football Club.
Back into the DNVR Broncos podcast presented by our friends over at Bet365. Speaking of Bet365, game tonight.
Yeah.
Slight underdog Chargers.
Yeah.
At home.
Yeah.
For whatever that's worth against the Eagles.
On the road against the Eagles.
Essentially. I've decided we are cheering for the Eagles.
Obviously.
But there was a moment where I was thinking, do you just want the Chargers to get the win so that they can stay in the playoff race? Like, make it even harder for the Chiefs, make it harder for the Ravens. Bills probably don't drop out, but part of them dropping out would be obviously staying behind the Chargers because that's a team you kind of want in the playoffs. But again, then you narrow the lead to 2 games, and so if the Chargers beat you, then it's down to 1 game, and they have the tiebreaker, so all it takes is 1 more. So you do want the Eagles to win.
Basically, not quite, but you almost clinch the division if they lose.
Almost. Because that'd be a 3-game lead.
Yeah, with 4 games to play.
Right. So you wouldn't have to lose out. If you went 1-3 and they won out, then they would get it.
Yep.
Yep.
So we're rooting for the Eagles. I mean, I'm already rooting for the Eagles in my household.
You have to.
Yeah.
My girlfriend's going with your wife to watch the Eagles potentially.
I heard they were, yeah.
I heard that too.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know what's going on.
I don't know. Okay. Now, well, that's an off-air conversation.
Yes. Anyways, I'll be pulling for the Eagles. Really, there's very few situations where I'd ever pull for the Chargers. You mentioned during the break Adam Prentice.
I always mention Adam Prentice.
2 very conflicting thoughts about Adam Prentice this morning. The first thought I had was, wow, he's playing really well. Like, when he first came in for Michael Burton, I was like, this is a huge downgrade.
Yeah.
And then he's just gotten better throughout the entire season, and now he's like equal, if not better.
Right. Valuable. Doing all the things Burton did.
Yep.
Like using him in shotgun and pass protection when it's 3rd and long. Like, those are things that you didn't see him do early in the year, but now the trust is building. He's actually getting the ball. I think he's more productive with the ball in his hands than Burton is.
For sure.
Burton just had all the other stuff that was like maybe more important for a fullback.
Kind of has like a little bit of acceleration.
Right. There's a little, dare I say, juice?
A little bit.
Little juice?
And speaking of juice, it's funny you say that. My next thought was, is there any like sick fullbacks the Broncos could draft? Because not that I'm trying to replace Adam Prentice. I was just thinking about how cool it would be to be like one of the teams that has like the really dope fullback, like Kyle Juszczyk juice when he was younger.
Right.
But I just don't think there are. I think the fullback pipeline is completely dried up.
I know. Hunter Lepke from North Dakota State was the last one that I was just in love with. And I think he's still playing well for the Cowboys. It's tough. You kind of got to watch the tape to know because I guess he had a 36-yard rushing game this season, which is pretty good. Oh no, receiving, which is also. But it seems like every couple years there's one. This year there was like the Bama guy whose name I don't know because Dre kept saying it wrong.
Classic Dre.
Right, he was saying Oates. So there's something that's similar to the name Oates, but certainly isn't.
Okay.
But yeah, I don't know. Draft season, we should talk about it.
Yeah.
It is interesting that we take, your fullback looks really good, which is fun, and turn it into, we should draft a fullback.
That's what I mean. There were conflicting
Isn't that a
thoughts.
twist? Right.
Unfair to Adam Prentice, but I was thinking like, what if we had just like one of those really sick fullbacks?
Right. It would be awesome. And I've had that thought. Like, Juszczyk would be unbelievable. Like, it's just so hard to put a value on that, though. It's like, what do you trade for a Kyle Juszczyk?
Right. Well, it's very similar to, it's actually, this has kind of changed, but like early days of fantasy football, there was like 3 elite tight ends.
Yep.
And then no one else was like a fantasy guy.
Mm-hmm.
And it was just like, if you have one, you're set. And if you don't, you're kind of screwed.
Right.
It's like the Broncos did a pretty good job of finding Adam Prentice once Michael Burton got injured because he's, I would say, above a replacement player at this point. But it'd be sick if you had the Tony Gonzalez of fullbacks.
Yeah, it would. I'm curious to see how that plays out because like Michael Burton is the oldest player on your team, so it wouldn't be a huge surprise if you turn the page there.
Yeah.
He was also what PFF had him as the best fullback in the NFL last year, and so those are off-season conversations for people who watched every single fullback snap and know what's going on there.
Right.
Instead of us just saying like, wow, that fullback sure does look nice. Yeah, I'm curious to see what they do moving forward. Because one of the things Sean said yesterday is that it wasn't like an identity shift in them going so heavy. You know, he didn't see a lot of Troy Franklin out there. Didn't see a lot of Marvin Mims out there. It was a lot of little Jordan Humphrey. It was a lot of Adam Troutman. Not much Evan Ingram.
A lot of Mercedes Lewis.
Right, a lot of Mercedes Lewis.
He had a couple one-on-one matchups with Max Crosby.
I know. And a couple of them didn't look so good.
No, but a couple of them did.
Right. And so it's one of those where you really have to figure out what ratio you're looking for. But yeah, so to see that after they were a lot more open offensively the week before is interesting, especially because I think both worked for them. Like the offense in back-to-back weeks and two very different styles looked very good. And I don't know whether down the stretch, I'm sure you obviously game plan and figure out what you think is going to work best each week. But in some ways, you kind of just want to have some sort of identity and say, here's who we are and here's what we do, and we're going to be able to lean on this.
Yeah. I think the identity of Sean Payton teams is that they are malleable.
Right.
And it's a blessing and a curse, I think, but I look at it much more of a blessing than just like, this is what we do, and then you run into a team who's really good at stopping what you do, and then you lose. I think one of the reasons why the Broncos, everyone says, oh, they've won so many different ways, is because of Sean Payton.
Yep.
He knows how to scheme to what you don't do well. The Buffs just hired a new offensive coordinator.
They did.
Who I'm incredibly excited about. And
I'm glad you're excited.
Every video on YouTube that he's been in for like the last 8 years. And one of the things that he said, which is just such a sicko thing to say, but he said, if anytime we go up against a team, I look up their defensive coordinator and I watch every touchdown they've ever given up as a defensive coordinator.
I like it.
And then I create stuff that's going to work against that. Like, that's what Sean Payton does. He looks at what you do poorly and finds ways to exploit it with his guys. And that's better to me than just being like, we're smash mouth. We're going to put Mercedes Lewis and Adam Troutman and a little Jordan Humphrey out there, and we're just going to beat you at it. Because it sounds really good until you, like, I don't know if that's going to work against the Packers.
Right.
And so you might have to air it out a little bit.
Right. And the bar for working is also just lower in a game like that. You know, like in this game, the expectation was, you know, you should be pushing for 30 points. Like you should be putting up 5 yards every play. You know, against the Packers, a very, very good defense with a pretty good offense too, which is why they're so tough to beat. You know, you're not going to totally avoid the 3 and outs. You know, like those will come back. It's just limiting them. I'm curious to see how that all plays out. Let's hit some super chats before we get out of here.
Absolutely.
Super chats from Mile High Sing. Fellas, the name for this defense should be the Butchers of Mile High. Shout out Omaha Steaks. Go DNVR, go Broncos, and LFB. I kind of like it. Again, like meat packing history in Denver. That's kind of like what we're all about here. That was an era.
Yep. I'm not in.
No, not the Butchers of Mile High.
I'm just going to be honest. Like, I appreciate the super chat, but I'm not in. To me, it comes down to Orange Rush or Supermax. And as much as I think the Supermax defense is a sick name, I don't envision it catching on. So I want to go with, like, yes, it's a branch off an existing tree, but there's nothing wrong with that. It's the Broncos tree. So it's the Orange Rush.
So here's how we make Supermax defense a thing. Okay. Yaya, if you're listening, we're going to make well, if he's maybe there was it down there. Maybe we make a graphic, and so like let's just say they shut down Jordan Love in the offense. So graphic is here's this big prison. And it's like dark and it's like that, and in front you've got like the guards leading Josh Jacobs and Jordan Love and all them like into the prison. But you can see in the windows of the prison that Patrick Mahomes is in the prison and like you lost to Justin Herbert. Cam Ward's in the prison. And Jalen Hurts is in the prison.
Yeah, this is
it could be a good graphic.
It could be.
And it could really catch on, and then we're the Supermax defense.
It could be.
So yeah, if you're listening, wherever you may be, that's the plan here. Yeah, R.I.P. or
Your plan is
whichever
good.
way we're
Your
looking.
plan is good.
Yeah. Oh, okay. More super chats. Wild Cowboy. Shout out Wyoming. We're big fans of that state. RJ Harvey
it says,
was
like locked up by the Supermax defense.
locked up. Yeah. RJ Harvey was getting his pads low and hitting the gaps with power. It was successful. Good job, coaches. Yeah, he has after contact juice, whether it's like ankle contact, whether it's shoulder, like he's finding ways to get extra yards, which is a big part of the job.
And it's what we loved about him coming out of college. It's
Right.
like, okay, he's quote unquote small, but he's not built small.
Right. I mean, Sean Payton said last night, we drafted the runner, not the receiver. Like we wanted him because of his ability to run the football, not because of what he can do. He brought up Alvin Kamara. They drafted as a receiver for those skill sets. And we all offseason got to say, no, he's really good. Like he has this vision. He has this balance. He has the burst. And we're just kind of waiting for it to show up when he just gets handed the ball in the backfield. And to finally see it just feels so good.
It's crazy that they drafted the runner, not the receiver, and I believe them. But the receiver is like elite.
Pushing elite at least.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you wonder.
The catches that he makes, like Bo is not afraid to put some speed on the ball when he throws it to RJ.
Right.
And it hasn't hurt them at all.
No. And I mean, big games are all about making big plays. And I wouldn't be surprised if one of these playoff games you see RJ Harvey catch a wheel route that winds up. Same thing with Marvin Mims.
Yeah.
Like you have a bunch of these guys. It's just finding ways to make them pop. David Robinson, absolute legend.
Wow. Wow. The whole Robinson family in the chat.
Right. Yes. Yeah. At what point can we really start to look at Troy Franklin's drops and see them as a problem? I kind of think that they brought in Elijah Moore as insurance in case it continues. Your thoughts? They are a problem.
It felt like he was past it. And then now, like yesterday, it was ugly. He was fighting the football.
He was. And
even like his catches were like uncomfortable catches.
I agree. And I think that that's something that, it's who he is until it isn't, and I think that as of now, you look at him and say, what does he bring to the table? He's very fast, which means can stretch the field, opens things up for other guys. He can make plays downfield on screens. He's electric. Drags get him on the catch and run. A lot of things that you can do with him, but there are downsides, like, the route running still coming along and the drops. You hope that scouting report changes, but if you're Sean Payton figuring out how you want to use him, that's factored in. And there might be plays where you go to Marvin. There might be plays where you go somewhere else because of it. But he's also your second leading receiver at this point. So
no, it's weird. The hard part is just that he's open.
Right.
So you have to throw it to him.
Yep. Overtime. Because we have two more super chats that got hit, including from Neem Dog. Love the performance from Adam Prentice. Who didn't? I was actually, I can't remember who I was talking to this about. Oh, Scotty Gange. That's who I was talking to it about. I think. I'm of the belief that everybody thinks they like a fullback until the team actually uses the fullback. And then you're like, why are we always out there in 22 personnel running for 3 yards over and over and over again? They like the idea of the fullback. After yesterday, I'm kind of shifting a little bit where I think people actually really did enjoy fullback football yesterday because people don't enjoy it as much as they say they do.
You just reminded me of my third Adam Prentice thought from this morning.
Oh, good.
Which was, I hope people remember all the times it works. It worked. The one time the fullback dive doesn't work.
Yes.
Because people are going to lose their minds. What are you doing? What are you calling?
Yep.
But like fullback dive with Adam Prentice, I think is like 4 for 4 this year.
Yeah.
Other than in short yardage.
Yeah, in short yardage. That 3rd and 9 when they gave it to the fullback was a little crazy. That wasn't really like fullback
in
dive.
London?
That more recent.
I think it was in London.
Was
fullback
it?
drop.
I think it was, yeah. I actually do think it was. Not my favorite. Neem Dog. The rivalry is over for us, but Raiders fans would burn down the city if they beat the Broncos. Also, triple Denver parlay yesterday hit like a truck. Yeah, I included Avs -1.5 like an absolute sucker because I didn't like the juice. They didn't get the empty netter. Real bummer. You reminded me, I had another football dream a few nights ago that I was going to bring up on a watch along because I thought it's more like watch along content than actual important podcast content. But Sean Payton gave me the play, and I was playing quarterback. And it was, so it's like kind of like fun 7-on-7, just meet up playing in a park. And I didn't know the
Payton
place.
was calling plays in the park.
Yeah, and so it's like all
Guy
these
just
like
loves ball.
right, and it's like the Broncos receivers and all that. And so I rotate in for whoever the quarterback is, and they're like, okay, and they expect me to call plays, what it was. And I turned around and I was like, I don't know any of the plays. And he's like, you're the quarterback and you don't know the plays.
Damn.
And then I woke up. It's always never a happy ending in my football dreams.
Yeah, that's
just like in real life, actually.
That one I feel like I can diagnose the psychology.
I think so. I also we don't need my dreams. That's going to do it for today. We're going to be back tomorrow with more. Shout out to Dion. We really put him through the ringer. By we, I mean me. But he really held up. That's why we call this company DNVR. Shout out RK. Shout out Bet365, our presenting sponsor. I'm Henry, and we'll see you tomorrow.
God bless Bo Nick.
We all silly like the mayor.